Second episode of the Beauty Bunch podcast. So I'm here with Aldo Tomasi
Glad to be here.
and Marcus Apenta, also known as the coach.
Oh, just here for the fans, buddy. Just here for the fans.
Okay, so yeah, we finally got this name for it. A big, huge, exciting week for football. Some of us almost got all of our predictions right. So yeah, let's just get into it. Who wants to start?
I mean, we'll just start with a recap of last week, I guess. First game of the week, we had Colts going
Actually,
into
hold
Houston.
on a sec. How about we do like what you guys' picks was, and that we can start going on. Just a little recap of what our picks were.
What, picks from last week?
Yeah, picks from last week
Okay,
for the first
okay.
round.
Last week I had Dallas beating Seattle, which happened.
That was the big difference. I had Seattle on that,
Yeah.
blown kicker.
We
that,
both
that
had
hurt.
Chargers against Baltimore.
Both had that. Both had Colts over Houston.
Yeah, and then we both had the Bears?
We
Yeah.
both had Chicago and,
I don't mind
Parkey.
that's the only one I
Parkey.
lost, and I don't mind
Parkey.
losing that off of the double doink. So
It was tipped. Blocked field goal. Can't blame it on Parkey.
I got a question
I'm
about
still
that, but
blaming him.
we'll come back to that
Don't you worry.
afterwards. Anyways, and then do you want to start off with this week or?
I do want to say though that yes, because I'll talk a little bit about the lines this week as well. All the away teams covered last week. So although they didn't all win, everyone covered. So the road teams are showing that might not matter if you need home field in the playoffs right now. It's not holding out strong.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah.
All right, so just a little quick recap for this week. So, wait, no, we basically just did that.
Yeah.
Well,
We
that's the
basically just did
picks.
that. Yeah.
That's our picks, yeah. And if you want to talk about them individually, or do you want to go to next week and just kind of briefly talk about what happened? Or
Well, I guess just kind of give a little bit of a talk a bit about the games last week. I guess that's one of the places that we can kind
all
of
right,
start
for
with.
sure. The first one was the
It was Colts.
Chargers.
No, first game was Colts going into Houston.
Colts going into Houston, yeah.
I think the biggest thing there is just the O-lines, man. Andrew Luck could not be touched, and if you give Luck time, you're done. You
Yeah.
just can't give him time. It doesn't matter what weapons he's got
Yeah,
around.
he has a lot of.
He's
He's
gonna
the
do
biggest arm
damage.
in the
Ma-
league.
Ma-
One of the biggest arms in the league.
Mac
for sure.
ran all over him as well because of that O-line, and then if you flip the script, Houston's O-line is the worst thing that I've ever seen
Yeah.
in years to come. It doesn't matter what you throw at them. I could get a sack on that O-line. Like, it's terrible. Terrible.
You go get him, coach.
Yeah,
Thank
go
you.
get 'em.
I'll give him my all.
I
Put
kind of
me
touched
in.
on it last weekend as well. Deshaun Watson is he's good, but he's not star caliber. And I feel like part of the reason Houston's is so well was a weaker schedule and not the greatest division. Like I know Tennessee was somewhat competitive, but it's Tennessee.
I do think it hurts that they Will Fuller gone early in the season, and they try to get Demarius Thomas to fill that.
Yeah.
Then he gets hurt with an ACL too. I think that hurts because Colts, we just put two men on DeAndre as much as we could and just said try to beat us somewhere else, and you couldn't because that's all they got.
Yeah.
So it honestly at that point I think we took a little bit of an early lead and we just didn't let them have it back.
Yeah, it was 14-7 you guys. Or sorry, 21-0 by halftime.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I was
21-0
celebrating.
by
Right. I
half.
was doing a big TY dance in the first drive, big 50-yard bomb. It was a great time. It's a great time to be a Colts fan.
So, do you think this game was the least active out of the all the other games this week?
I would say for Houston because it wasn't exactly close by any means. They scored their first touchdown in the fourth quarter, and it's very odd because you had the 3 seed against the 6 seed. Was it 3 versus 6? Yeah, 3 versus 6 going into the going into Houston for the team not to show up. And you know what you touched on last week that kind of made sense. You said Andrew Luck was going to be at home.
To him, yeah,
for him because he's from Texas.
Exactly.
And family and everything. And
TY has it's the highest average for a receiver, most amount of yards in anyone's away stadium. Any receiver. It was 120 or 130 yards.
Wow.
He averages in Houston. I think he only got to 85, but he put up 60 on the first, and they were basically let's dial you back. We don't really need you right now. Honestly, he's been kind of nursing an ankle injury, so I don't even doubt that was part of the plan.
I'm actually not surprised as well because Indianapolis was the hottest team going to whatever they 9-1 over their
Now
last
10-1 over the last
10-1
11.
over exactly. They're
Go.
and Houston looked good, but they didn't look unbeatable good. You know what I mean? So I'm not surprised. That's also why I went with Indianapolis. I went with a hot team, not the team that's okay.
Yeah. No, that was my one lock of last week.
I feel
that was
like,
the
yeah.
only thing I felt confident in.
I
for
feel like
sure.
Indianapolis, if they had a better start, they would have actually had the 3rd seed or
For sure.
the
Starting
1
1 and 5
start
hurts.
really, yeah.
Okay. We were only 2nd team, I think, in NFL history to make the playoffs after that. So,
Yeah,
I mean,
so-
impressive, but yes, that hurt. That hurt big time.
So, question to you, Coach: what does Houston do in the next offseason? You got an aging JJ. The defense is a little aging as well. All around, a couple of young guys,
Oh.
but
Honestly, I think you just draft O-line hard. That's your biggest issue. I think you can make it work with the running backs you got. If you get some receivers to come back healthy, I think Will Furlow's still a good complement to DeAndre. Think you're going to have a better year out of Deshaun Watson next year. I think you're going to find something a little more in the middle between this year and the hot season you had last year before you got injured. So I honestly think there's still going to be something to mess with if they're smart. The bigger that they can. That O-line, it's not even just like the worst of this year. It's like the worst I've seen in like a decade. That O-line is terrible, and they don't do anything about that. I think they're done. But if they're smart enough to focus on that, can sign some of the guys back from on the defense. I forget how long they signed the Honey Badger too, if that was a 1 year or not. But yeah, they can kind of keep the boys around and work on that. I think there'll be something to mess with.
okay. Next question: if an opportunity arises where a better QB or a younger prospect or somebody who looks more highly touted, would you get rid of Deshaun Watson or bench him?
No, I don't think you would. I think I'm just going to keep going back to it. It's the O-line. I don't think you can possibly blame them on this. I really do. I'm not the highest on Deshaun Watson, but I really do think he's going to turn out to be a good QB in this league. You saw what his potential was in that first year in that rookie season, throwing like 5 touchdowns in like a 3-game streak. I really just think if you get some protection around him, and he's mobile enough. Like, I think about if you had someone like a Flacco or something back there. Like, I couldn't even imagine the amount of sacks they would have given up.
That's true as well. That is true. All right.
I guess we can start going on to the next game. So the next game that was after on that day, the Seattle-Dallas game. What do you guys think of that game?
What a game! That was a good game. That was just entertaining football to watch. Honestly, I thought it was not the greatest officiating, but not the worst. But
Some serious ref ball.
no, not serious. Not serious. Couple plays, but yeah, Dallas just looked the stronger team down the stretch. Like they put up 14 in the fourth.
My biggest thing is just, which blows my mind, I honestly think Pete Carroll got outcoached. I think he just kept sticking to the same game plan and wouldn't just let Russell kind of try to take over. I wouldn't say necessarily take over the game, but start to bring it back.
Yeah.
Instead of just continuously trying to pound the ball, which I understand you need a little even out, but when it's not working, I think you got to work on changing the game plan. And the best player out of those two teams is Russell Wilson. Give the man the ball.
He had some really nice catches that game too.
Nice tosses.
Sorry, yeah. Sorry. Who am I thinking of?
Lockett had a nice grab. I think Baldwin still had a couple there. But overall, Dallas looked like the better team.
Yeah.
Amari Cooper, Zeke had a day. He did his damage. But I really do think you got to take into account that Seattle played one half of a playoff game with no kicker. So that's you understanding on every single drive that you're going out there, you have to get all the way down the field, and you're going for it on 4th down basically all the time, unless if you have to punt. So there are no field goals. Like he blew it out on that 57-yard attempt at the end of the second quarter, and from there
57 yards.
Yeah, so like he was going for
If
it.
you're not Justin Tucker,
Like,
I don't
big
expect
man.
you to hit freaking 57 yard.
Clearly, big man
kick.
was trying a little bit too much. Janikowski there, and I guess tore something in the groin, so he was done. And that messes you up. Like that's a big difference on just being able to go for a field goal and just how you play call the rest of that game. I think that was huge. That even could have been the difference in that game.
So the Seahawks weren't exactly, one of the Super Bowl favorites or anything like that.
No.
But they're always looked at as like a semi-decent team or a playoff caliber team, since they got Russell Wilson essentially.
For sure.
So what would you do different in Seattle?
Seattle's tough. To be honest with you, I didn't even think they were going to make the playoffs this year.
Yeah, I felt that as well. I felt the NFC was stronger, but a lot of teams fell off near the end.
That one's. I'm not.
I wouldn't
exactly
change
sure.
much. Maybe an offensive coach. Somebody who can make more play calls and help out Russell more. With his.
Like, I wouldn't disagree. I think that would probably be an offensive coordinator because I don't think
Yeah.
Pete Carroll's going anywhere. But
No,
you
not
could
Pete Carroll.
definitely-
I said an offensive coach. Yeah.
Perfect. Yeah, you go offensive coordinator. I think that could work out for sure.
I think maybe some
Um,
young prospects on D.
It's not the Houston, but you could give that O-line's in the bottom half of the NFL for sure. So that could help out. And defense did play well, but there's some holes you could help out there. It's not the Legion of Boom anymore.
Yeah. To be fair though, he's a bit of a scrambler, Russell Wilson,
For
which
sure.
makes O-line stats look worse.
There's both ways.
It
There's
goes both.
two
yeah,
ways
it goes
to it.
both
He
ways.
runs away from some sacks, but then
But he gets out of the pocket quite a bit.
For sure. Which also then even makes it tougher to protect for. him.
Yeah.
So, I think that's pretty solid. You made that pick there. Dallas goes through. I'm interested to see how they do in the next round, but
We'll touch on that.
exactly.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that when we make some picks.
All right, so the next game now.
Sure.
Exactly.
All right, so Chargers and Ravens.
The shocker of the week. Honestly, I picked the Chargers,
I was
but
with you. I was
Baltimore
with you on
didn't
that.
come out to play
I touched it.
until the fourth quarter.
I touched upon it last week. I said if the
I thought they were
Chargers
gonna
get
come
out,
back. I really thought they were gonna
Yeah.
come back.
I said last week if the Chargers get out early, I don't know if the Ravens can do anything to do enough to get back. Just the style that they have is just run the ball a crap ton, whoever it may be, whether it be Lamar, Dixon, or Gus Edwards. They were just gonna run, and you can't really do that when you're
Yeah.
down. And they were still somewhat in it because the Chargers couldn't convert any touchdowns. It was just field goals.
Mhm.
There's one place where we actually see a kicker doing
What was
everything.
it?
I think it was
Five field goals
perfect.
in a row.
Yeah, I think he was perfect. I know at least 12. I know it was 4 in a row for sure. So that was pretty impressive, but they left him in the game. The Ravens still had a chance, but it was interesting to see where they went in the second half. People were debating about calling in for Flacco, leave Lamar Jackson. I think it was definitely the right thing to do. I think Joe Flacco is going to just get sacked more, and it was nice to see. You actually saw Lamar. You saw Lamar actually throw the ball a bit. He actually made some nice plays.
I beg to differ. I
You
think
wanted Flacco in there?
it's really hard to say honestly. You got to trust your starting QB, and you gave him the opportunity for the last few weeks, even with the healthy Flacco, right?
Yep.
So you got to trust, but at the same time, when it's a playoff game, your game's on the line. You got to take chances, and you gotta a guy like Flacco. He's won a Super Bowl, right? Yeah, he won a Super Bowl.
He did.
He has that
Ray
experience.
Lewis won a
He-
Super
he
Bowl, but yes.
he has the playoff experience to come back in the fourth quarter. I mean, don't get it twisted. They did great. He did great in the fourth quarter, but after halftime, when you get no points,
It hurts.
Would
Going
you-
into
would you-
halftime, I think it was like
0. They had 0 points. It was 12-0.
20 yards of passing offense. Like it was tough to look at. That's for sure. I think it was the right move just because you also get that development. The plan is to go with Lamar Jackson in the future.
Yeah, I've
So
seen
you got to
that.
give him that second half playoff.
Did you see that
experience.
report?
Oh yeah.
It
it's
looks
done.
like yeah. They said they're getting
They're
rid of
sticking with
Flacco,
Lamar,
and
Flacco.
Harbaugh says he's looking at an extension.
Yeah, I think Harbaugh is going to stay. They claim there's going to be a
I
market
think that's
for
I think that's a
Flacco.
fine move, but at the same time, speculating, where's Flacco going?
Honestly, I don't know because personally, I don't think he's really got much left in the tank. So like, I don't really want him anywhere. Someone will sign him. That's not a doubt. But personally, I don't really think it's a smart hire. Whoever does select him, I really haven't thought too much about where.
Do you know how much he's got on his contract?
He's done after
he's
this
done
year.
after
He's
this
done
year.
after this year.
Okay.
Like he's
fair
done
They'll
now.
let him go.
In the off season. He's a free agent.
I'm not sure. Do you have any ideas?
I honestly, I don't know. What do? Do you leave him on Baltimore? Pay him he wants $20 million. Like that's a lot of money for a backup QB.
I'm trying to think who could really use a QB right now.
Like, what position do you use him at? As a mentor and your backup, or do you want him as like a win now? Because I could see him definitely winning some games still. Like he has an arm, he still has his arm. He just doesn't move or scramble as much, right?
I don't even know where that team is, just because there's so many teams that are on their rookie quarterback right now,
Mhm.
and they've accepted like this is what we're gonna try
What
to
about the
run.
Bills?
The Bills got Josh Allen.
Yeah, but he didn't do great.
You're right, but I think he played enough games this year that he's gonna start next year. I'm gonna keep seeing what they got with him.
All right, Miami.
That's fine with me, but to me, like, you're just looking at two crappy options. I don't like Tannehill. I don't like Flacco. Like, if you want to close your eyes and throw the ball with two terrible quarterbacks, take your
That's
pick.
fair.
What about the Giants?
No, because if you're gonna choose between the two, you're
No, it
gonna
doesn't make
keep Eli.
If
If you're going to
Flacco,
choose Joe
Eli's
Flacco as
same
the guy
player
to
as
come
Flacco,
in,
yeah.
you might as well keep Eli, who's been there
Agreed.
for how many
Yeah.
years.
They're the same QB at this point. They're both aging veterans. They've won Super
That's
Bowls.
what I
and
mean.
now they're
I
done.
honestly don't know. Like, they claim
It's weird.
the
It's a weird
Ravens are
situation.
just trying to, hype him up a bit. Like, there's going to be a big market for Flacco. They expect a big market.
Yeah.
I don't know who the hell wants to sign Flacco
It's weird because certain
as a starting quarterback.
a starting quarter.
specifically.
The thing is, I think he would be very good as like a competitive backup. And when I say that is your backup goes down or your starter goes down, that's one of the greatest
That
second
could
men
be a
you could have.
Buffalo. The Buffalo could make sense.
Yeah,
there.
I could see Cleveland. But the problem is, I see his wanting price.
I see a few options as the QB2 veteran guy for sure. But I just don't know if A, he wants that, or B, where.
I think he wouldn't, because he's not the most outspoken person. He didn't complain when Lamar Jackson still had the starting job. But I feel at the same time is how much of a pay cut is he willing to take? Because if this guy wants $20 million a year towards your salary cap as a backup, that's unheard of.
Well, he was one of the highest paid QBs, right, in the NFL.
No,
Like
he was in the
ago?
bottom half. He was like
I don't know. I
No,
forget if
I
I
swear
forget.
I
I
thought when
honestly
they won
think
maybe
he
at
got
one point, but not
No,
now.
I swear when they won the Super Bowl, he was one of the
Okay,
I
highest.
do
maybe
think he
maybe
got a
what was
stupid
that? 6 years
contract
ago,
for
7
that,
years
but
ago.
nonetheless.
Not now.
Yeah.
QBs are making 30 and a half, 35.
Mhm.
He's making 20.
At the end of, I don't think it'll be 20 because Nick Foles won the Super Bowl, became a Super Bowl MVP, and then took a 20-year, $1 million-a-year contract. So if that guy gets 20, I don't know. Maybe there's something I'm missing, but I do not see value in the old man Joe
You know
Flacco.
what? You know who I think? Jacksonville.
Okay, that's an option because they have no idea what the hell they're doing. over there.
Exactly.
That's an
exactly.
option.
Because if they're going to continue to start Bortles and he plays poorly, knowing that he has to have a chip on his shoulder because there is this veteran Super Bowl winner right behind you willing to take your spot over with that team, with that running back, with that defense,
I'm with you.
I think that would be a great move on their part.
That's the best thing I've heard so far. And honestly, as a Colts fan talking to a Steelers fan, I think this is the maximum amount of time we should ever talk about a Ravens quarterback.
Agreed. Agreed.
Okay,
Agreed.
guys, let's move on to the Philadelphia-Chicago game. I feel you guys have quite a bit to talk about for that.
Oh my, what a
Yep.
finish.
Yep.
Okay, did you also watch the catch, no catch, fumble? No one picked up the fumble play?
Yeah, that was so crazy.
No, I don't believe I did.
Okay,
Yeah.
so it was a shit show. The refs didn't know what the hell they were doing. No one knew what happened. So it was the Bears, right? I think the Bears made the completion.
Yeah,
And it was
it
like
was the Bears.
20, 30 yards. He caught the ball, took 3 steps. So like the receiver caught the ball. The ball was then punched out, but so they still called it a catch. They weren't calling it incomplete. The ball was punched out. The refs blew the whistle. No one picked up the ball.
The ref had to get the
Technically,
ball.
even if the ref blew the whistle and then the Eagles picked up the ball, it would be Eagles' ball. I'm pretty sure to my understanding of how they broke that down. But the ref blew the whistle when there was live ball technically. No one picked up the ball.
Yeah.
So why did he blow the whistle, though?
Because they're dumb. I don't know, but someone premature, having some issues in the bedroom. I don't know what's going on, but someone was a little quick on the whistle.
You know what? I blame Philly on that because I've seen a million plays where everybody knows the balls is not a fumble anymore and they're not calling back, but they still pick up the ball anyways. You know, just because
yeah.
usually nobody
No,
to pick it
yeah.
up. That's very
The
odd.
funniest part is that there was 4 players around the ball, and it's like none of them even went up to the ball, but they were like waving their hand like this. They
No.
were doing the no catch sign.
A lot,
right?
like, I was listening to a few players in the NFL and stuff like that, and that's all what they say. Defense, like, that's what they were preached to all the time in practice is you go pick up the ball. I don't care if there's you grab the ball. That's just, you grab the ball
Yeah.
all
Yeah.
times. So honestly, it is kind of on them, even though it was a shit show of a play. the end of the day, all we have to talk about is that ending field goal. What an
That is
end.
well too.
Oh my God! I think it's like the 5th or 6th field goal. This guy's the
Hit off the
actual
uprights.
bar he's
Yeah.
hit this
Yeah.
year. Like he can't catch a break. If that's an inch to the right, it banks in.
Mm-hmm.
God, I feel bad for Cody Parkey.
See, the thing that I loved about, well, not really loved because I kind of feel bad about him, but just all the reaction from the Bears fans on Instagram, completely just freaking out,
Yeah.
like
It was blocked. Eh?
Yeah.
It was blocked, right? It was changed from a
Well-
missed field goal
well-
to a block.
Okay.
well,
This
me and
is-
you talked about this
Yeah,
weekend,
we
so go
spoke
ahead,
about
take
this.
take the lead.
Okay. See, I have mixed feelings about this because, first of all, Chicago should have not put themselves in that position. With the lead in the fourth quarter, Foles came down the field and scored a touchdown to put them up. Also, at one point, they went for a 2-point conversion and missed.
100%
Earlier in
and
the
no,
game.
I think it's right on that point.
There's
the
your 1 point.
The
to at
Bears'
least tie.
strength is the defense. Your defense has
Agreed.
got to
Yeah.
stop
Agreed.
them when Foles comes down
Agreed.
and gets down to
Where
4th and
where was
goal.
Mac on
Your
the fourth?
defense is the strong point. That's where you make the play and win the game. I
Yeah,
agree
where was
with you
your
on
your
that.
2 draft picks you picked, man, on the last possession for Foles to come down the field?
I don't
So-
disagree. Don't
so-
disagree.
Also, what? Okay, Trubisky. Again, I've said it a million times about this guy. I don't trust him. Because why? What did he? He threw 1 touchdown. 1 touchdown, 0 interceptions.
I
in the
mentioned it
playoff
last
game.
week. I'm not a Trubisky guy.
And
I
the
was
Eagles'
not-
defense
I
is
almost
nothing
picked the
stellar.
Eagles last week. I bet on the Eagles last week, but I almost picked them last week just because of that. I'm not a Trubisky
That was the
guy.
one game I was honestly more sure than the Indianapolis game. 'Cause
Really?
I thought Chicago looked phenomenal. I thought they lost some games, but I thought that was more than feeling each other out because they got a bunch of new members on the team, trades,
Fair?
and Trubisky threw a lot of 1 touchdown, 2 interception games all season.
Yeah.
Right? So I can't I'm not putting the blame on the kicker at the end of the day because they shouldn't have even been in that position
No.
from the poor choice into 2 points and missing. And then it should have been it would have
great
been
coach
tied.
play. Got iced. Got iced. Drilled it. He drilled it.
Yeah.
Got iced.
And then the Bears are supposed to have this defense, and then that happened. The collapse in the fourth quarter, and letting Foles come down the field and then leaving you with a minute and a half or whatever left on the clock.
I don't disagree. I think we should just give, at least at this point now, Eagles are on. Nick Foles.
Yeah.
Again, I understand. It took some luck.
Yeah.
It took a little of this and that.
Yeah.
But, man, this guy just continues to win. I don't understand, but apparently playoff time, this guy has just ice in his veins.
Before we move on to this week, I just want to say, I'm not a physics major. I don't understand how physics works, and I know it's been changed to a tip or a blocked
Correct.
pass. Even they could say it made just the slightest amount of
Mhm.
difference to make it keep it in the upright at the same time. But I don't know if you noticed where the Bears lined up. They lined up like it was in the center, obviously the uprights, and they were to the right of it, completely to the right of it, to the right of it, and he kind of angle shotted it in. All
Wait,
this
can you
man had
repeat
to
that?
do-
Sorry, I don't think that got picked up in the mic.
Oh, okay. To reiterate, here's the field. First, and by the way, before the timeout was called, he hit the first kick.
Oh, yeah, he drilled it.
He
Uh-huh,
drilled it down
uh-huh.
the center.
Like down the gut.
Yep.
But on the next play, they shift the play over to the right, okay, and then they're on an angle looking at the field goal at the uprights.
I didn't know that they moved it. Interesting.
I don't know if they moved it, but I'm just saying that he was on an angle,
Okay.
and the way he came in on it was he rounded it around it, and that was partially why
Yeah.
went towards that upright.
I think he's been known to mostly miss it to the left.
So I
think
don't-
that's his
I don't-
problem.
And if you know that, why don't you just center it on the
It's
game-winning field goal? Why do you go
easier
for
to
the?
do.
you-
He gets.
I get what
he
you're
hits
trying-
the first
what was
one, and
he
then
saying?
then he's in his own head. He's got like a minute to think about it. Like just standing
Yeah,
there out
you
on the
overthink
field.
it sometimes.
You think instead of just execute, man.
Do you think that fingernail or whatever he got on him really?
So I want to say
changed that
no
so
because
much?
it was nothing. Like he barely ticked it, but it also barely didn't go in.
Every
So,
little
like,
bit helps.
I think so, and I don't know if it's actually true. It's just one of the things that I watched. But I was watching something, and they're in slow mo, and then you can actually see the way that it affected it was to the left. And technically, if it affected literally these like a centimeter, 2 centimeters to the left, that was enough from it doinking out versus in.
Yeah.
This sounds like a good episode of Sports Science.
I know.
I agree. I agree.
Honestly, they'll probably put an episode on it.
I
Like, what is
agree.
the odds that it goes off that and out?
Yeah.
Like how? Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what I was thinking of when I said I don't know physics, right? Because if they could actually determine, this centimeter of like the slightest touch was able to change its course drastically. Okay, that's a big deal.
Well,
like,
I forget what the actual name of it is, but like, have you ever seen those videos of like those people just like throwing like a soccer ball or a basketball off of like a dam and stuff like that, and it just goes completely
Yeah.
flying in a different.
Yeah, they just put the spin on it.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
something yeah.
I was thinking
something
like a
the something
baseball
effect.
player?
I forget what it's called, but basically like that little bit, like maybe if it stopped like spinning just a little bit, or
know.
if it got knocked over by
I
a little
just
bit
feel so
with a
bad.
bit of wind, like even like if there's
I
like
feel terrible
one
for the man.
like a bit
Terrible.
like
I
1
agree.
kilometer of wind just got increased.
Yep.
Like that could do
That's
everything
it.
to the
Agreed.
ball, you
Like,
know?
wind's not perfectly
To be
consistent
fair, I think
for
a lot-
10 minutes.
Yeah.
Like,
To
that
be
could have just for like if he kicked it a second later, it might have went in if it was the same kick, but the wind was just a smidge
Yeah.
lighter, just a smidge
to be fair, I feel
softer.
like I feel like
yeah.
1 kilometer an hour wind would change him more than a fingernail
Yeah.
that he got in, or the one finger. I
Or
don't know,
God
man.
was just like fuck you and just like wind.
Yeah. Honestly, that's the Bears in the playoffs pretty much, and I feel for Bears fans, man. Like this
I don't.
yeah, because you're a Packers fan.
Can't say I'm a Bears fan either, but at the end of the day, you're looking good. If you're a Chicago fan, that D is gonna be
My last
around for a few
question.
years.
This
I'm
goes
not a
into my last
Trubisky
question.
guy, but you
That's
guys
my
have faith in
question.
him.
What do you do with Trubisky?
Oh, they're keeping him. That's their guy.
Yeah, I hate
That's
him
their
though.
guy for. Oh, I don't
I
like him
hate
either.
him.
But they
You have such a good team.
they're not. I guarantee you, they'll keep him for at least 2
You
years.
you put even Derek Carr on that team, they're moving on to the next round right now.
Like they could, but they won't.
Trubisky
I'm
is
telling
not.
You. I don't disagree.
Trubisky is a future backup in this
I
league.
don't. Yeah, 100%, 100%.
He's a future backup.
I'm not a Trubisky.
Do you
guy, I'm
draft a
not.
QB if you're Bears?
No, because they believe in him. That's their issue.
But what else? What other issues do they got? Wide receivers?
No, honestly, everything else, like they're just picking off like little stuff. Like I'm sure there's like one specific position on the defense maybe they could improve.
Yeah, I was gonna
improve
say.
the O line, but RBs are good, receivers are good, most of the defense is good. Like honestly, you're basically just rerunning it and just believing that Mitchell Trubisky matures another year and he's ready to go.
Do the
I
Bears
agree.
go after Flacco?
No, because they believe in him too much. I'm not.
No,
I
but
don't
the,
like
the,
them,
the
but
same
they like
situation.
them.
The
Flacco
same,
to the Leafs.
The same. Yeah.
The Bears
More
love
like
Trubisky.
Falco to the Leafs. But it's the same situation as before.
Falco,
Trubisky's
punk.
not Trubisky's not playing phenomenal. He has a chip on his shoulder because he knows he has Flacco right behind him. And Trubisky's
You
got a rookie
could,
contract.
and it's a good vet, and it's a good vet presence. All I'm
100%.
saying though, they could do that. Flacco never plays. I'm telling you that now. Flacco doesn't play
No,
unless
but
if
you
Trubisky
can't-
gets injured.
Unless for injury, right?
Yeah.
But if he goes another game where he throws 1 touchdown, 3 interceptions, 2 interceptions,
They were talking smack,
passing rating of 50.
earlier in the year because people compare him to Mahomes, and then the coaching staff was like, like let's just
Slow it
relax a
down,
little
yeah.
bit,
boys.
just give it a full year. Let's see, round
Yeah.
it out. He had like 1 5-touchdown game, and
All
he's
right,
like, look,
let's wrap
you
this
know?
up a bit. We're getting up to 30 minutes.
Let's do it.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, so
Just our recap took 30 minutes. That's long.
yeah, but let's try to like spend like at least because I don't want this to be like an hour again.
That's fine. Boom.
Yeah,
Let's go into
so,
our picks.
yeah, so let's go into picks this week. Colts and Chiefs.
Colts Chiefs, and it's a 5.5 point spread. Chiefs are favored at home. What are you taking this week, Aldo?
You can change from your picks.
Yeah,
I don't
yeah.
want to. There's not a single pick I'm probably going to change this week.
I do have questions
Everything-
about one because I thought there was one you might, but continue.
Um,
Everyone's allowed to change their opinion.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah, no.
I was
it's
already
you
iffy
know
with
what?
stuff
There might
last
be
no
week.
one.
rules
Now
here.
thinking about it,
Exactly.
there might one, and I think I know which one you're going to mention too.
Whoops.
Kansas City. I know. They come up. Did you see who they got back? They got 3 players back from injury this week.
Where's back? Watkins. Came
Watkins,
back. I
yeah,
don't know who the last
and
one
somebody
was.
else. They got 3 players, or Reed or Hill or something like that. I forget it. And you're telling me you're getting an already safe bet, more great players against a team Indianapolis, they're the hottest team in the league. But I don't see it. I am not changing my bet. I had Kansas City going to the Super Bowl, and at this point, I don't see it. The only thing that will change my idea of Kansas City going to the Super Bowl is Tom Brady this week.
Fair. I can't really say much against KC. The team's nasty. All around, that offense scares me. The biggest thing I'm just looking for is I think Andrew Luck can keep up in the shootout because their defense is not something too special. They do have a pretty good defensive line getting sacks-wise, but, man, I got a lot of confidence in the Colts O-line.
Colts look good. Colts did look good.
So, ultimately, this will be my pitch. I understand KC. That's the smart pick, 5.5 favorites. I will say hammer the Colts in the spread. I think they'll keep this a close game. I think it's going to be a nice shootout. Granted, it might just be touchdowns only because that seems to be a KC move. But my pitch for the Colts will ultimately be Andy Reid, or Andy Reid in the playoffs doesn't seem to do too well.
Yeah,
that's just a thing. I like him as an overall coach, but for some reason he doesn't get it done in the 100%. Playoffs. As you mentioned, the Colts are just frickin' hot, 10-1. It's hard to go against that. I understand Casey's good, but right now we're just hot. Andrew Luck's nasty. I understand Patrick Mahomes nasty.
They may be the hottest team, but Kansas City was probably the most consistent team all year.
You're right, but they've been off for a week. Sometimes that's good. You get healthy, as you
but
mentioned.
They got 3 players back. They
got those people
plus
healthy.
Mahomes needed some rest.
All we've been doing is continuing our connections. We're staying hot. We didn't take a week off. We stayed by the fire. We're still hot. I'd be worried about it. I think Andrew Luck is going to keep this close. I'm going to take the Colts. Got to stay with my hometown boys. I picked them before. It's going to be a close game. But I say they cover the spread, no doubt.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but is this Mahomes' first playoff game?
First playoff game.
Okay, so this is like his real first test. You can kind of say.
He had some big games in the regular season, but yes, this is his first playoff experience.
Because playoff is a
different
completely
demon.
different beast.
Playoffs completely different demon. One game, gotta win it. At least at home. We'll see what happens. I think it's going to be fun.
The problem is, to stop Kansas City, you need to get to Mahomes. And I don't see Indianapolis getting past that O-line.
I think the Colts are going to get some pressure on Mahomes. My thing is, I think Mahomes can still get out of the pocket and still do damage. I feel like I don't know if it was at the end of the season, but I know for a large part into it, he was actually had a better QB rating outside the pocket than in the pocket. So that's always fun. Being a Colts fan, that is. I just really do think we got a chance at this just because of how hot we are. And I don't even remember where the hell I was going with it, but ultimately...
Go Colts!
Ultimately, yeah,
That's where you're
go
going.
Colts. I really just do. I think
Coach is picking Colts pretty much.
I was going to say playoffs, just playoff experience. Andrew Luck with a pile of dog shit the first 3 years that he was with Indy, or I think he might have, maybe the first year was rough, but nonetheless, took us in the playoffs, won a few playoff games. We at least got a quarterback with experience in the playoffs and has won playoff games. I'm not saying Mahomes wasn't hot. Hasn't won a playoff game yet, though. So we'll see how it turns out. I'm Colts, coach, Colts, lock it in.
All right.
CC, all right. So the next game, Dallas and L.A.
This
Rams.
is the one you're going to ask me about.
Yeah,
I'm guessing.
see, this is where I think
–
Dallas looked good last week.
Yeah, they did.
Zeke was fed, and he produced.
And LA did not look good at the end of the season. They did not.
It's tough to deal with both Amari Cooper and Zeke. You want to jam the box, then you can't do a double coverage on Cooper. Want to do double coverage on Cooper? Some side of the box is weak for Zeke. It's tough to deal with. Tough to deal with. I am curious. I'd like to hear your opinion on. We got the Rams are at home versus Dallas. The Rams are favored by 7. But how do you feel about Dallas?
This week is very nerve-wracking for me for like betting purposes. The only game I feel very confident in is the New Orleans and Philadelphia game.
We'll get there.
I can see Kansas City losing to Indianapolis, like the hottest team in the league, because we don't actually know how strong Indianapolis is. You know what I mean?
We really don't.
You don't, right?
It's nutty.
And Kansas City, like you said, Mahomes versus the play. Now this game. Again, one of another hot team, Dallas, looks good.
Ever since they got Cooper, it's been a different team there.
LA is not putting up those 30 points like they were at the start of the season.
That's true. All facts.
You know what? After Dallas's performance next week, Oh, you know what? My dad's gonna kill me.
Oh, he's gonna do it again.
I'm taking Dallas.
He's taking
I'm
Dallas.
He's taking
That's the
Dallas.
one pick I'm gonna change. This
You
week.
heard it,
That's the
Steelers
one pick I'm
fan.
gonna
He's
take.
taking Dallas
taking
over
Dallas.
the Rams. Wow.
I think Zeke's gonna have a game. I think.
Wow.
If Dak
I'm
Prescott
visibly
could
shook
use
right now.
if Dak Prescott could use some
Physically
weapons,
and
use his arm,
vocally.
get out of the pocket, scramble a little bit, get those first downs. If they can get an early lead, Dallas, they're not relinquishing that. Now, having said that, if what's the name of the Rams QB?
Jared Goff.
Jared Goff, yeah. If Goff has one of his games where he throws for 400 yards and gets 3 touchdowns and just having an aerial game, and then Gurley just does his thing, you're not touching the Rams. But at the same time, I think, you know what? This is going to be kind of I'm just guessing here. I think it's a very close game. I'm taking Dallas.
Okay, we're taking Dallas, and I honestly think the teams are a lot closer than people think.
Mhm.
And by sorry, similar is the better word. A lot similar than people think. They both got stellar RBs. You got Todd Gurley, you got Zeke. To be honest with you,
Arguably top 2 in the league.
Exactly. Dak Prescott and Jared Goff. I like Goff a little more personally, but I honestly think they're pretty
No.
similar caliber. People have different opinions.
I
Dak
agree.
Prescott's been better this year, but I do think you'd at least put them in a similar caliber if you had to rank QBs in the league.
Well, Dak's second year, and Jared Goff was a journeyman. Well, not a journeyman, but it
Jared
looked.
Goff's like 3rd year in. Well, 4th.
No,
tops.
he's 27 years old.
Goff?
Goff is older, man. Like
Buddy, Goff
Goff.
came in, had one shit year with, I forget, some terrible coach. Don't remember his name, but fucking god awful. And then
But
Sean
he
McVay
was
came back.
he
and
was
he's
going to
been
be.
great.
They said that
He was
if
a
he didn't have a
first-year
good,
bust. He was a
he was
bust.
going to be a bust.
He was
They
a
said
bust.
this
First year was a
season
bust.
and the previous one were the only reason he's still in the league.
For sure. He was a complete bust until Sean McVay came. He was complete bust, and then he showed up, and then he's been absolutely stellar. People definitely have different opinions on that, but I think they're at least similar enough caliber that we can then debate about on who you're picking. So I think
really
they're close.
hard.
So you got similar QBs, similar RBs.
I think Dak has a higher ceiling though.
you
by
got
far.
Amari Cooper. You got Brandon Cooks, Robert Woods. I am a little disappointed that Cooper Kupp's out right now, but we can leave that for next year. For me, I've already been talking him up. The biggest thing for me is I am a huge believer in Sean McVay. I think this is his time in the playoffs. I think he's really going to have some fun. I think he's going to have some plays ready. I think that offense is going to be prepared to change it up if they need to. I really just like that well-rounded. You got the offense. The offensive line is pretty nasty, can compete with Dallas's offensive line as well. The amount of weapons that Goff can target is ridiculous. Todd Gurley's had 2 weeks off, if not more, to get healthy. I think he's going to be ready to pound the rock, be available in the passing game. I like the kicker. I like Zerloin better. Overall, I'm taking Rams, and Rams are favored by 7. I'm even going to take them on the spread. I think they're going to win this by a touchdown.
Wow, really?
It's that much faith that I have in specifically Sean McVay and Todd the Bod. And then honestly, I think everyone's forgetting. You could debate that the best player in this game is Aaron Donald. You could make that debate, and he himself could make such a huge impact on this game.
Yeah, that's really. But agree to disagree.
100%. That's what we're here for.
Who has the higher ceiling as a QB, Jared Goff or Dak Prescott? I think we've seen everything Jared Goff does. I don't think he's going to come out with a, 100-yard scrambling game and 250 yards in the air. He's just going to throw it. He's just going to throw it in the pocket. He might move to the left and right a little bit. He's not doing much more than that. A couple slant passes. Dak Prescott is young. He moves. He's bigger. I feel like he definitely has the potential to be a better QB, not only in the future, but in this game.
Maybe it's because I just don't really like Dallas. But personally, I'm just not a big Dak guy. I'm not that big on Goff either. And I honestly don't think either of them have that high of potential, to be honest with you. I think they're basically mediocre QBs in the league.
Yes.
They're almost game managers, I feel like. They're more than that because game managers tend to be more of just throw it short, stay in the pocket. They can They can throw some deep
Jared
bombs.
Goff.
They can move around a little bit. But honestly, the bigger reason why I like Jared Goff more is just because he gets to be with Sean McVay. I don't like either of the quarterbacks that much, but he gets to play with Sean McVay for the near future, and that's all I know. That's honestly the biggest reason why I like Goff more.
That's fair.
More
Coaching
more than Prescott.
goes very far in the playoffs. Having said that, you have a very young coach.
Okay, so let's go into the next game. The LA Chargers and New England. Who you guys got?
This tears me apart. I'm so torn on this. Like, I want to tell you the Pats dynasty is over. I really do. But it's just something in my gut tells me, Coach, you're a fucking idiot if you're going to bet against Tom Brady in the playoffs. Like, am I wrong?
Nope, not at all.
Nothing's changed for me. Nothing changed for me.
You're
I
still
think
going Chargers,
I'm still going Chargers. I
They're
think
favored by 4 points. The Pats are favored by 4 points.
whatever.
Taking the Chargers.
Yeah, I think the way the Chargers stop Baltimore helps me even more with my decision. And I think Brady in the playoffs is a different Brady. Like, he's great in the regular season, don't get it twisted, but he just doesn't lose in the playoffs often. And when he does, it's like barely. But I feel like one team that's going to knock him off the pedestal, it'll be the Chargers or Kansas City. But the Chargers first, because Philip Rivers is hungry, man. He sees a Super Bowl performance in his headlights, man.
I'm with you. I want to see it happen too.
And I will never pick the Patriots anyway. Screw the Patriots.
That's
I
my
don't care.
issue,
I want them to
man.
lose every week.
Like, there's not even a question in my mind. I'm rooting Chargers for spread purposes. I'm betting on the Chargers less with the 4 points.
Really, 4 points?
Mm-hmm.
With 4 points, I'll take the Chargers on the spread.
Wow. So you think the game's going to be like 25-22 or something?
It's so tough because, like, I'll be rooting for the Chargers, no doubt. Want them to win. But it's just
It's
Tom.
hard to say, man.
It's just Tom.
If they
It's
played last
CEO
week,
Tom Brady.
Well, it's gonna happen one day or another.
yes.
It is, but this guy wants to play for like 5 more years.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's like
I
actually
don't
going to
think it's
happen. But that's what he
plausible, but
wants.
It may. Honestly,
I'm taking Tom.
I feel like if
I'm
we
taking
s-
Tom.
You're taking
CEO Tom. CEO Tom. I'm taking him. New England Patriots. I got it. God
Some
damn it.
Indianapolis fan. you
Yeah,
are.
I know. Hey, I took the Colts over the Chiefs. You know how much this hurts as a Colts fan to pick the Pats?
Yeah.
Like, I will be rooting so hard for my pick to be wrong
I've been
this
going
weekend.
with the wild card guys this week. Like, other than the Kansas City game, obviously, like I picked Dallas over the team that's at home and favored it. I picked the Chargers over the Patriots dynasty. I just feel like this is a different year. I don't know why.
Who knows? It has been a while since someone from the wild card round has made the Super Bowl, so that'll be interesting to see. But at the end of the day, as much as I will root for the Chargers, I'll bet on the Chargers on the spread. I got to pick Pats. It's CEO Tom. Nothing else I can do.
I can't.
Can't blame the kid.
I can't blame you. I
Blame
can't blame you, honestly.
All right, next game: Philadelphia, New Orleans.
Last game of the weekend, we're
Oh,
going
this
to the
is
Superdome. Nick
This
Foles.
is no freaking. I don't even care. You know what? I was gonna start this point off by saying I don't see Nick Foles putting up the same amount of points as Drew Brees can put up, right? Because he's gonna need like 30 points to beat that team. Having said that, that's what they said last year, the Super Bowl with Philly against the Patriots, and he beat them.
Right.
Like, he put up 40-something points. Like, it's no joke out here with
Nick
that.
Foles throws a few picks last week. We're like, what's going on? Oh, no. Oh, I'll charge down the
They're
field.
lucky
4th
they
and
even
down. I'll
made
score a
it.
touchdown. We'll make it through. He's got ice in his veins.
Philly's lucky they even
He's a
made it,
backup
man.
quarterback that is the definition of clutch. I don't know how to deal with it.
You're not
pretty
going
clutch.
into the Saints Stadium and beating them with Nick Foles. And if they played anything that they did last week, the Saints are going to win the game in the first half. They're going to be up 17-7 or something, and they're just going to be get a couple more touchdowns just to finish in the second half.
Here's my other big thing, too. You can't run on the Saints. You can't. They've got an incredible run defense, and the Eagles' run offense is absolutely god-awful. They've really lost a lot when Ajayi got hurt early in the year. So to me, that means they're just going to basically really worry about the pass rush,
What's the spread
really
on
make
this?
Nick Foles uncomfortable. The Saints are favored by 8 points. And so,
Okay.
yeah, I don't even think there's, like, Not much.
I think that's
can
low. I
possibly.
honestly think that's low for this game.
I was going to ask you about the spread too. Just give me 1 sec on that. At the end of the day, I don't think there's enough you can possibly say about Philly that would possibly make me pick them. As much as Nick Foles seems to be clutch in the playoffs, it's Drew goddamn Brees at home in the Superdome. Alvin Kamara, Mark Ingram, Michael Thomas. Do I need to keep talking?
Yeah.
It's done.
Yeah.
Saints are going to win.
And not to mention, the Eagles don't exactly have the best rush D. And you're with a QB like Breeze, who never goes down. You can never get the Breeze.
I think the Saints are going to go absolutely off on offense. You and I both picked them to go to the Super Bowl, so I don't think there's a question.
Yeah.
Our picks are done there. You were questioning it's an 8-point spread for the Saints.
Mm-hmm.
If you were a betting man on the spread, do you think the Saints will win
100%.
by 8? You're going to take the
100%.
Saints still on this.
100%. I feel like the score is going to end up, like, honestly, 33-16. Like, 33-15.
I could totally see that, but as a betting man, I'm going to continue to take the away team.
You've been hot so far, or not?
It wouldn't surprise me at all. Actually,
8 points is surprisingly a
the
lot.
score that you said wouldn't surprise me actually at all. Something like that, like in the 30s, high 30s for the Saints, and yeah, maybe just below 20 for the Eagles. I could see that, but I'm gonna say it's gonna be a touchdown game. So I'm gonna take the Eagles on the spread, but 100% Saints win the game.
The only difference I see is the Philadelphia did well against that Bears defense. Now, I would argue that Bears defense, it may even be better than
100%.
New Orleans' defense.
100%.
So, does that mean they equal more points, right? But the only difference is, you saw how many field goals they got. New Orleans is not getting those field goals like Trubisky is. Drew Brees is putting up 7, not 3.
That was honestly the biggest reason I didn't join you on the Chargers, was because the Chargers didn't score any of those touchdowns the first 4 drives. That scares me going into the Pats. But going back to this for the Saints, I don't even remember what the heck your point was.
My
Kicking.
Yeah. I said that Drew Brees is going to convert those 3s.
Oh,
to
yeah,
7s.
he'll convert. Yeah, same thing. Oh, 100%.
I'm just excited to see Kamara, man. That guy looks like a I just want to watch that game. I want to see him go, Brees go for 400 yards, Kamara go for 120. Like, you know what
I think
mean?
Kamara's going to go off. I think also why you might be right and the Saints do cover on the spread is the last time the Saints had a taste of the playoffs, the Minneapolis Miracle happened. All right? And that defense is going to be salty. That cornerback is going to have that shit in the back of his head, and that shit will not happen again.
I see Breeze playing as hard as well because this, you know what? He's going to come back next year. I believe he's coming back next year. There's no reason for him to retire.
I think he
at a
will.
peak.
I think he will come back. My question to you, just curiously, because you bring it up, if Drew Brees wins the Super Bowl, would he ride off into the sunset? Even like right now, I'm with you. I think he is coming back. If they don't win, let's assume assume he's coming back.
Yeah.
But even though that's the case, if he won the Super Bowl, would he just ride off in the sunset and say, "I'll not come back next year and just enjoy riding off at the top"?
I think that is the best way to do it.
Let's make this the last question. We're getting close to 50 minutes.
I think that I think that's because look at people like Jordan. I know Jordan retired like 3 times, but like, you know, he won 3, retired. He won another 3, retired. Like I feel like if you're Tom Brady, you win one, you win your last one, and you retire.
Here's my thing. It would definitely be the move. Like just Peyton Manning did it, right?
I was gonna say Manning's another example.
I honestly think he'd come back because I think he can win a back-to-back. I think in Drew Brees' head, he looks at that
With
team.
a third-year Mahomes?
He looks at that team. It's obviously not a lock. You know how hard it is to win a Super Bowl. But I think he looks at that team and says, "We're a Super Bowl contender. Doesn't mean you're going to win it. But I think he would look at the team and says, that team with me is a contender. And I think it'd be tough for him to still walk away from it.
Who leaves? Who was it? Ingram and Kamara.
Ingram, Kamara, Michael Thomas is just getting good. I think he's going to be better next year.
How do you leave the?
I don't think he
and
could.
when he had arguably the best season of his career. Arguably, but like he put up so many touchdowns.
I'm with you. I think he's got to stay. I wanted to throw this back to Franny though quickly. You don't
Yeah,
have to
Franny,
go in
your pick.
detail.
I was just about to say this. Like,
We
I'm
want to
gonna-
get your picks in
yeah,
here, buddy.
that's what I was about to say. I was gonna actually end it off with that.
Great.
Okay,
So-
here. I'll set them up for you. You tell me your
Okay,
picks.
I'm gonna take the energy from the cosmos, so there's no like logic behind this.
That's
stuff.
fine. I'm just gonna throw you.
I like it.
I'll throw you the games. You just let me know. Saturday, we're gonna start it off. The Colts are going into KC. How you feeling? I know you're a big Mahomes fan.
Okay, you know what? Just because I'm gonna pick the Colts.
Let's go. We
Oh.
got 2 Colts fans in the room.
He's just out here supporting his
Let's
friend, which I
go.
respect.
Gotta
I
respect my
respect.
coach.
Gotta-
Having
gotta
said that, I
support.
know Freddie. If the Steelers were in, he would pick against them.
Well, it's
Supporting-
funny because like when I first actually like I didn't watch every single football game, but mostly this year I watched almost every single week, at least like 1 or 2 game, right? But like back then, like 3 or 4 years ago, when I watched like a game like once or twice a year, like not including Super Bowl, I liked the Ravens because of the Blind Side.
Oh, that's fair. That's fair. I feel like they get a lot of fans from that.
Yeah, so I guess that just like a little bit, but I also kind of like busting your balls,
Yeah,
as we
that's-
say in Italiano.
Okay, fair enough. But then he supports Coach over here.
Yeah,
exactly.
gotta-
against who, by the way, you've been hyped about Mahomes all year.
Yeah, yeah.
That's true.
Just talking
That's
you
true.
like
I know. I was
I
always
was
so
surprised.
hyped.
I was very surprised
Yeah.
you joined me on that one.
Yeah, I don't know.
Nothing but respect, pointing at the fans. Thank you very much. Colts bandwagon. Let's go. Next game, it's going to be the Saturday night game. You got Dallas playing in Los Angeles, playing the Rams.
You know
Who
what?
You taking?
I'm gonna go with the Rams on this
Oh.
one.
Let's go. Sean McVay joining me. He's actually that's 2-0 with
I was
me,
gonna say he's
2-0
completely
against
off.
you.
He does not like
He's-
my picks.
Franny's
this week.
been with me on both picks. Let's see if he changes on Sunday. See if he's
No,
feeling
he's not.
different.
He's not. I already
Sunday.
know.
You got the Chargers going in to CEO Tom Brady and the Pats at Foxborough. Who you taking?
I gotta go with the CEO.
Yes, he's taking CEO Tom. He's 3-0 with Marcus. Let's see if he's
I
right.
feel like I'm that one guy, the coaches at the start of the game. You know, you have like Bill Cowher and all the guys, and then there was the one guy who always picks the one team that doesn't win, and they end up winning. That's me this
That's all
week.
right. Watch. We'll see.
Oh, yeah.
We'll see. We'll come next
Now I
week.
know that feeling.
Maybe
boys.
you're gonna walk in next week just all high and mighty. 'cause
like I
you're
was
right.
this week.
Yeah.
And
Exactly, just
I
walking
was
in.
only off by 1 point. You know,
Like-
I would have had a perfect week.
Gotta feel good. Gotta feel good. Last pick. Nick Foles. Those Eagles.
I swear to God, if you play
Going
fake
into the
Philly.
Superdome. Do you believe in Foles in the Superdome against the Saints?
Well, tell you the truth, I do believe in Foles.
Is he taking them?
Yes, I am.
Oh, he's taking the
Let's
Eagles.
go. Let's go.
I feel like Freddie secretly hates me. He just doesn't want me to succeed.
That's
Did I
against
actually-
both of us, though. That's
Did I
against
go
both
0
of us.
4
there.
for your pick?
Yeah.
0-4 for my pick.
Franny
I didn't even
faded.
notice.
Franny fades Aldo. Matches coach the first few. Fades Aldo the whole way.
I'm not even gonna lie. I didn't even intentionally
Don't
did that.
ever bet on sports.
Next
Do me a
week-
favor, Fred.
I won't bet on.
Next
American
week,
football.
you may or may not see Aldo on the cast. We'll
Yeah.
see.
Yeah.
Yeah, fist might be flying. We're lucky he's not live right
That
now
or
in
you'll
this
find him in
video.
a ditch.
Oh my God, friendship's tearing apart. He faded them on every pick. You're about to find out, I guess.
Whatever.
Yeah,
He's a
boys.
Packers fan, anyways.
Yeah, we'll see. You know, the viewers will have to decide.
He's got
which
holes
side
in
to
his
go
brain
with.
and the Swiss
Yeah.
cheese.
Yeah, so yeah, I think that concludes everything. I don't know if we're gonna do another one. I know we talked about doing one for just for Leafs and Raptors and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
we
if you guys are
should.
down.
Any other
Like,
sports
yeah.
topics?
Let's just
All
do
right,
two
so
same
that,
week.
yeah, well, like I'm just gonna end it off on this one over here. So thanks a lot for you guys. You'll see us soon. The next episode, Leafs, Raptors. I don't know. Maybe we'll talk about baseball. I don't know. Formula One. Not actually, but
By the
maybe.
way, we just got this week. We just got into our picks really and a recap. The thing is, it's playoff time. That's what we're gonna talk about. Come off season, we'll talk a lot more about
Just
you know,
sports.
yeah,
What's going
like,
on
yeah.
off season, MLB tracker.
Not even just that. Like we'll talk
NFL.
about what are you doing with Kirk Cousins? What are you doing with XQB?
not
stuff
even
like
just that. I
Like,
want to even have like topics too.
Just
you
wait
know what
the
I mean?
time. There'll be March
it's-
Madness. There's gonna be
exactly.
NBA,
Yeah.
NHL playoffs.
Oh, we gotta do a March Madness.
It'll all
bracket.
depend on the time of
100%.
year. Watch us all lose our bracket.
We'll be the
in
one
first
Canadians
half
out
day.
here with March Madness
Yeah.
brackets. This guy's out here picking like Villanova or something. Even though they could totally do it.
All right. Thanks a lot, guys. See you guys soon.
Stay classy, you beauty bunch fans.